wenn niemand mehr kommt. Also, wir haben jetzt eine Stunde Zeit für ein paar wirklich spannende Community-Projekte, die wir im Moment laufen haben. Es handelt sich auf der einen Seite um eine Übersetzungsplattform, die wir bei OXID einsetzen. Da wird der Daniel kurz was dazu sagen und also Daniel wird den Vortrag halten. Ich sage dann noch ganz kurz, wie wir das bei OXID benutzen. Danach kommt der Herr Professor Hepp dran von der Bundeswehr-Uni in München. Das war die Contribution für RDFA und Good Relations. Und einfach für uns alle zum Verstehen, wie das alles zusammenhängt, warum wir das auch reingenommen haben und wie das in Richtung SEO geht und auch die Shops im Prinzip in den Suchmaschinen, das Ranking beeinflussen könnte in den Suchmaschinen. Und zum Abschluss wird der Joscha noch mal kurz was über das über das Advent 2.0 Projekt sagen, was im Moment durch die Community getrieben wird. Ich hoffe, dass wir dann noch ein bisschen Puffer haben für ein paar Fragen. Wir werden am Anfang erstmal das in Deutsch vorsichtig anfangen und werden dann rüber switchen zu Englisch. Okay? Okay for you guys? We start in German and we'll switch to English later. Okay? You will probably get the idea on the from the slides. Daniel.
Okay. Ja, Tag. Ich bin Daniel Schlichtholz. Ich arbeite bei der Mayflower GmbH. Das ist ja eine Firma, die hier relativ bekannt ist. Da muss ich, glaube ich, nichts zu sagen. Ansonsten gibt es zu meiner Person vielleicht noch interessant zu berichten. Ich bin der Gründer von dem Projekt MySQL-Dumper. Und jetzt seit kurzem gibt es eben ein neues Projekt, das sich da O-Trends nennt. Worum geht es da? O-Trends ist kein neuer Tanzstil, ist keine Musikrichtung, sondern die Abkürzung für Online Translation Center. Und das Ziel, was wir damit verfolgen, ist einfach aus der eigenen Not geboren. Für das Projekt MySQL-Dumper haben wir immer mehr verschiedene Sprachpakete bekommen. Wir haben natürlich Language-Dateien da drin, da sind einfach Key-Value-Paare abgelegt, eigentlich genauso wie es bei OXID der Fall ist. Und wir haben, glaube ich, mittlerweile 27 angefangene Sprachen. Und die Kommunikation, die dafür notwendig ist, um mit den Leuten zu klären, wie wird überhaupt eine Übersetzung gemacht, wie kann man hinterher die Daten, die man bekommt, wieder eintragen und pflegen, das wurde immer komplexer. Und dann habe ich mir irgendwann gesagt, nee, da muss was anderes her, das muss irgendwie einfacher funktionieren. Und O-Trends ist praktisch die Lösung davon. Das ist der Versuch, eine möglichst einfache Web-GUI zu bieten, wo jedermann von überall her halt irgendwas übersetzen kann, beziehungsweise nicht jedermann, sondern Rechte gesteuert. Und der Unterschied zu anderen Projekten, die ich gesehen habe, wir versuchen, alle drei Richtungen abzudecken. Also einmal aus der Sicht des Projektadministrators, dass der es möglichst leicht hat, dann für den Entwickler, dass der möglichst leicht neue Keys anlegen kann, wenn sich mal was ändert, und eben halt für den Übersetzer selber, dass er dann eine relativ einfache GUI hat. So ein bisschen zur Technik. Es basiert auf Zen Framework mit jQuery und MySQL als Datenspeicher. Das Projekt ist sehr, sehr öffentlich, man kann eigentlich alles einsehen. Wir haben einen öffentlichen Jira Bug Tracker, wir haben einen Confluence-Wiki, wir haben eine Jenkins CI-Plattform und all diese Dinge sind verlinkt über die Haupthomepage von dem Projekt, das ist otrends.org oder otrends.de und da finden Sie die Links, wenn Interesse besteht. Legen wir gleich los. Ein Screenshot sagt immer mehr als 1000 Worte, so geht es auch gleich weiter. Wir hüpfen einmal durch die Screenshots. Das ist jetzt praktisch die Startseite. Da sieht man jetzt auf einen Blick, welche Sprachen eigentlich gepflegt werden und in welchem Zustand die sind. Man sieht auch gleichzeitig, welche User eigentlich welche Sprachen editieren dürfen. Und wenn man dann zum Beispiel auf eine Sprache draufklickt, kommt man dann sofort zu der Übersicht von den noch nicht übersetzten Variablen. Das ist eigentlich ganz praktisch als Startseite. Von da aus sofort für den Übersetzer kann er in die entsprechende Edit-Maske kommen. Die sieht dann so aus. Hier ist jetzt nach der Sprache Deutsch gefiltert und aus der Sprache Deutsch soll er jetzt nur die anzeigen, die noch nicht übersetzt wurden. Weiter oben kann man halt noch nach bestimmten Einträgen suchen. Ja, man sieht, es ist, glaube ich, relativ komfortabel. Paginierung ist drin, man kann von da aus halt alle Funktionalitäten erreichen. Wenn man jetzt en masse irgendwas abarbeiten will, gibt es zum einen eine Inline-Edit-Funktion. Wenn ich also bei Deutsch jetzt vor dem Untranslated auf dieses Edit-Icon klicke, dann kriege ich eine Inline-Edit. Dann geht halt eine Text-Area auf, da kann ich das Ding sofort bearbeiten. Und nach dem Speichern kriege ich halt eine entsprechende Rückmeldung und schon ist das Ding abgelegt in der Datenbank. Wenn ich auf den Eintrag selber klicke, dann komme ich in die etwas größere Bearbeitungsmaske. Da bleibt es jetzt dem Übersetzer überlassen, wie er denn jetzt eigentlich arbeiten möchte. Hier habe ich ein paar mehr Zusatzfunktionen. Sie sehen zum einen die beiden Buttons, diese kleinen grünen. Damit kann ich praktisch innerhalb der nicht übersetzten mich vorwärts und rückwärts bewegen. Es kann manchmal sein, dass wenn ich was übersetze und gerade nicht weiß, in welchem Kontext das jetzt gerade steht in der eigentlichen Applikation, dann will ich das skippen, dann will ich zum nächsten Eintrag und das kann ich darüber erreichen. Eine andere schöne Geschichte ist rechts dieses Translate into oder Translate to. Wenn man einen Google Translate API Key hat, kann man den eintragen und wir haben hier die REST-Schnittstelle praktisch angebunden. Das heißt, wenn man hier einzelne Worte übersetzt, kann man über Translate to German das Ganze an Google schicken lassen. Google übersetzt das und das übersetzte Wort wird halt sofort in der entsprechenden Zielsprache eingetragen. Bei einzelnen Worten funktioniert das wunderbar. Bei Sätzen wäre ich vorsichtig. Das kennt man, glaube ich, von den automatischen Übersetzungen. Okay, wenn man natürlich irgendwann da mal einen Stand hat, den man exportieren möchte ins aktuelle Projekt, dann gibt es da links im Menü den Button Export und da wird einem dann sofort angezeigt, in welchen Sprachen sind eigentlich Änderungen notwendig. Und da sieht man halt dieses Minus dann, ansonsten würde ein grüner Haken existieren und von da aus kann man eben jetzt aus der Datenbank die physikalischen Sprachdateien generieren lassen. Und die schreibt er dann eben auch auf die Festplatte, beziehungsweise macht auch direkt ein ZIP-Paket daraus, was man dann eben entsprechend herunterladen kann. So, also das wäre der Exportprozess, wo er jetzt genau anzeigt, für welche Sprache hat er was generiert. Und das ist der Clou, das ist das, was mir bei anderen Systemen gefehlt hat. Das ist der Bonus, der mir selber am besten gefällt als Entwickler. Nämlich, wir haben eine Anbindung an Subversion reingebaut. Das heißt, ich kann dann den Exportordner direkt in die Versionierung von Subversion übernehmen und kann dann aus dem O-Trans heraus nach dem Exportieren die Änderungen automatisiert ins Subversion Repository übertragen lassen. Das heißt im Workflow für mich, wenn ich als Developer jetzt mich dazu entschließe, an einer bestimmten Stelle einen neuen Key einzurichten, dann lege ich den hier an, übersetze Deutsch und Englisch, das kriege ich gerade noch hin, den Rest überlasse ich dann den anderen Übersetzern, klicke einmal auf Export, klicke nochmal auf Export to VCS und dann brauche ich nur noch lokalen Checkout machen und habe den aktuellen Stand direkt drin. Das ist eigentlich eine richtig praktische Sache. Ja, so sehen die exportierten Sprachpakete dann aus. Wir haben die gängigen Formate ZIP, TAR-GZ und TAR-BZ, wenn denn auf dem System verfügbar. Für ZIP muss natürlich die entsprechende Extension vorhanden sein. Nachdem man die Dateien exportiert hat, kann man sie sich auch hier online über Browse angucken. Und so sehen dann halt jetzt in unserem Fall jetzt hier die exportierten Sprachdateien aus. Wie die aussehen, kann man aber definieren über Templates. Hier sind wir mal kurz im Admin-Bereich. Hier ist die Pflege des Projekts an sich. Das heißt, man kann das Logo jederzeit ändern, neues hochladen. Ganz interessant ist hier die Geschichte, die Fallback Language und dann Export Language Replace Untranslated Phrases. Das ist ganz interessant, wenn ich jetzt eine Sprache habe, wo erst 2% übersetzt sind und der Rest ist noch leer. Dann kann ich hier sagen, wenn ich exportiere, fülle mir die noch nicht erfolgten Übersetzungen mit der Fallback Language auf. Verstanden? Das ist natürlich dann praktisch, dann habe ich in meiner Applikation, in dem Sprachpaket auf jeden Fall alles in meiner Applikation beschriftet. Ich habe nichts Leeres drin. Kann man da eben entsprechend einstellen. Ja, so sieht die Bearbeitung eines Users aus. Ich kann also sehr filigran Rechte vergeben. Ich kann genau einstellen, welchen Menüpunkt darf der eigentlich sehen und welchen nicht. Und gleichzeitig auf der rechten Seite können wir die Sprachberechtigung einstellen. Der Admin hier, der darf jetzt alles. Hier sind wir jetzt bei den File-Templates, das ist die Übersicht. Hier gibt es also jetzt 2 Dateien, die entsprechend exportiert werden können. Und die kann man sich dann, so kann man sie konfigurieren. Locally ist in dem Fall jetzt eben die Sprachvariable, günstigstenfalls eben der ISO-Code. Und dann habe ich eben einen Header, einen Footer, der fix oben und unten gesetzt wird und in der Mitte einen dynamischen Content-Bereich. Und das ist hier einfach dieses Key-Value. Das wird ja einfach in eine Textdatei geschrieben und die Platzhalter werden dann entsprechend iterativ ersetzt. Und daran sieht man eigentlich, dass man nicht unbedingt auf PHP festgenagelt ist. Ich kann also genauso gut JavaScript-Dateien mit exportieren oder Python oder was weiß ich, was einem da einfällt. Solange das Format einigermaßen gleichmäßig aufgebaut ist, ist das damit kein Thema. Gut, jetzt haben wir uns gekümmert darum, wir haben neue Sprachvariablen angelegt, haben die exportiert und haben die irgendwie zur Verfügung gestellt. Jetzt haben wir den anderen Weg. Jetzt haben wir schon ein bestehendes Projekt und möchten gerne die vorhandenen Sprachvariablen in das System reinbekommen. Dafür haben wir entsprechende Importroutinen implementiert. In dem Fall haben wir jetzt hier den Aufbau für ein PHP-Array gewählt. Das heißt, der parst ein PHP-Array oder erwartet das eben als Eingabewert, parst das Ganze und fügt es dann in die Datenbank ein. Wir haben verschiedene Importer, es gibt einen CSV-Importer, es gibt für OXID ein bisschen was Angepasstes, das ist schon da drin. Man kann aber auch jederzeit eigene Parser schreiben. Wir haben das Ganze über ein Interface dargestellt. Im Prinzip brauchen wir nur zwei Methoden, nämlich Extract Data und die muss praktisch nichts weiter machen, als die Key-Value-Paare aus den eingehenden Dateien rausholen. Das können auch XML-Files sein. Ach ja, Titanium haben wir auch noch. Das funktioniert schon, aber wie gesagt kann man es leicht erweitern. Gut, wenn man dann eine Datei hochgeladen hat, dann wird die zur Sicherheit nochmal hier angezeigt. Man könnte auch per Copy und Paste jetzt hier aus dem Speicher irgendwie Daten reinkopieren. Das ist also eine Textbox. Es muss nicht über einen File-Upload sein. Hier habe ich aber nochmal die optische Kontrolle. Ist mein Zeichensatz in Ordnung? Passt das alles oder nicht? Ich könnte hier auch nochmal nachbearbeiten. Und wenn der Zeichensatz nicht passt, habe ich die Möglichkeit, oben über das Convert nochmal einen anderen Zeichensatz zu probieren. Dann konvertiert er. Und mit etwas Glück sieht es danach dann in Ordnung aus. Wenn nicht, kann ich den Vorgang wiederholen, bis es entweder passt oder die Nacht einbricht. Dann geht es los, wenn man dann auf Start Analyze klickt. Dann arbeitet der häppchenweise, ich glaube immer 15 Keys auf einen Schlag per Ajax-Call hinten raus ab. Das Ganze wird validiert und dann eben entsprechend eingetragen in der Datenbank. Und die gelbe Box bleibt halt statisch stehen und die restliche Seite scrollt halt so durch, bis er alles abgearbeitet hat. Am Ende habe ich dann die Entscheidungsgewalt, möchte ich jetzt noch eine Datei hochladen oder möchte ich jetzt eben die Einträge bearbeiten. So, und jetzt können Sie selbst entscheiden, ob das Ziel einfaches Handling tatsächlich erreicht ist. Also vom Workflow her, wie gesagt, der Admin, der muss nicht viel tun. Wenn sich ein Übersetzer meldet, muss der ihm halt einen Zugang einrichten und die Rechte vergeben. Das war's. Und der Übersetzer kann halt 24 Stunden am Tag da reingucken und was verändern. Kann sich selber den Stand exportieren, wenn das eben entsprechend konfiguriert ist und kann dann bei sich auf seinem Testshop zum Beispiel dieses Sprachpaket einspielen und dann halt gucken, ob alles passt. Und wie gesagt, aus meiner Sicht, aus Entwicklersicht ganz praktisch, jederzeit neue Keys eintragen und die werden dann den anderen Übersetzern ja als nicht übersetzt angezeigt und dann wissen sie, da haben sie was zu tun. Gut. Die Erweiterbarkeit Importer habe ich gerade angesprochen, wie gesagt, kann man die leicht erweitern. Beim Export haben wir eben die Templates, die da frei definierbar sind. Beim VCS ist es so, wir haben jetzt ja Subversion angebunden, das Ganze ist aber auch über ein Interface abgebildet. Wir sehen große Chancen, dass das auch mit Git zum Beispiel problemlos klappen wird, falls da in der Praxis nochmal irgendwo doch Hakereien auftauchen, weil das Konzept auch doch ein bisschen anders ist. Da stehen wir im Forum natürlich jederzeit auch zur Verfügung, um das ein bisschen technisch auch zu beleuchten und zu besprechen, aber möglich ist es in jedem Fall. Das ganze System ist noch nicht in Version 1.0, uns fehlen noch ein paar Kleinigkeiten, zum Beispiel kann man sich am Anfang registrieren, dabei kann man aber noch keine E-Mail-Adresse eingeben und das ist ein bisschen misslich, wenn dann ein Übersetzer sich meldet und nicht hinterlegen kann, für welche Sprache er eigentlich jetzt tätig werden will. Da müssen wir das Ganze noch ein bisschen rund machen, deswegen ist es noch nicht Version 1.0, aber es kann produktiv eingesetzt werden. Gut, was haben wir dann weiterhin noch vor, nachdem wir Version 1.0 rausgebracht haben? Ist so ein bisschen die Vision, dass wir einen REST-Service anbieten, weil die beste Übersetzungsplattform nutzt nichts, wenn ein Key heißt A-2bxcz3, da weiß der Übersetzer nichts mit anzufangen und man hat leider den Kontext auch nicht, wo diese Variable eigentlich benutzt wird. Und mit dem REST-Service könnten wir es so machen, dass wir Helper schreiben, für zum Beispiel OXID über ein süßes kleines Smarty-Plugin, was dann praktisch das Frontend bearbeitbar macht, die Keys erkennt und dann, nachdem bearbeitet wurde, hintenrum über den REST-Server mit O-Trends kommuniziert und das Ganze dann eben entsprechend ablegt. Also das wäre so das Ziel im nächsten Step. Dann hat man eben die Kontextsicherheit. Ja, was auch noch nicht geht, ist Pluralform. TMX, das Format kann ich zum Beispiel auch noch nicht, aber es gibt einige Systeme, die Pluralform unterstützen, das heißt, es gibt zu einem Key mehrere Übersetzungen, je nach gewollter Anzahl. Also wir haben ja nur wir haben Einzahl und Plural, die Russen haben Einzahl und 5 Plurale. Das lässt sich noch nicht abbilden. Wir haben im Moment nur die einfache Zuordnung Key-Value-Paar und OXID hat damit aber kein Problem, weil die haben auch keine Pluralform. Ja, und dann mal gucken, was jetzt halt passiert, was die Community entsprechend an Feedback liefert. Und da stehen wir, wie gesagt, im Forum jederzeit zur Verfügung. Feedback ist immer willkommen. Ja, und dann schauen wir, was passiert. Das war's von meiner Seite. Ich glaube, jetzt wollte Marco noch ein bisschen was dazu erzählen.
Ja. My name is Marco. As you might know, I'm the community guide of OXID, and yeah, initialized actually the cooperation with Daniel with the OTrans project, so we can use it for OXID. I just wanted to talk. Oh, it doesn't look nice because I use usually another system over here. Why? Yeah, shop owners started working on their translations, right? And they translated the front end and the admin panel of their shops and wanted to contribute their translations to the community. And we started storing it firstly in the wiki pages and went later to an SVN where usually translators have problems. And then I was searching for a system like this and found OTrans as a perfect system for it, or nearly perfect system for it. Of course, there were problems, but we, yeah. One point was actually I want that the core developers will work with OTrans to, yeah, especially with the keys, and give the initial input for it, but it didn't work out for some technical reason, unfortunately. What we have now is that the community translators can work with OTrans. This system is on translate.oxidforge.org if you are interested. The aim is basically to increase the number of the community members and to bring front the initial internationalization of OXID, basically. Yes, and to use OXID as a reference.
Thanks.
Excuse me. I don't have any picture in this over here. Doesn't work. Give me a second. Nein, ich habe das im LibreOffice gemacht. Hm? Ja. Das hier. Ja, meins ist genau nicht im OpenOffice drin.
Du machst einfach öffnen mit.
Ja, rechte Maustaste. Ja, okay. Wie geht öffnen mit?
Unter, öffnen mit.
Okay.
OpenOffice und was?
Aha,
Ja.
okay. Jetzt müssen wir es nur noch auf den Bildschirm bringen. F5. Das war F6. Ja, F5. Und dann schieben wir es noch rüber.
Dann siehst du es aber nur drüben gar nicht. Bei dem Tool einstellen.
Ja. Works. Okay, I have to hurry up a bit. Just want to show you how it looks like for OXID. This is what we have now. As you can see, there are very different progresses for the different languages, and it's basically quality issue. Over here we have the translators, and we still need somebody. This one is funny, Polish. There are 4 translators, but no, still 0%.
They stole the keys.
They stole the keys. The entry is not really interesting. And this is how it looks like. I imported or I made templates for all the files we have to translate in OXID to make it complete. There are admin files as well as files for the front end and the setup. Okay, if you want to help with this project, feel free to download the translations you find there. Any translators are welcome. If they, just give me a ping and to community@oxidesales.com and register yourself if you can support any language. Or you may even join the OTrans project. Sorry for this inconvenience. And next one is, what? Questions? Question.
So the OTrans project is the official place where we find new translation, other translations, right? So
not official yet.
okay.
But there's no official place. It's just a community project, isn't it? So what I do is to import, if language files will change during the development, I import the new language keys, and then the translators can go ahead. So
to download the translation files, do I need to register, or could I, if I just want to
no,
download?
just register with guest, and you can search for keys for language snippets, or even download.
Okay.
Huh? But okay. Any other questions? Okay, we don't have the time for it. Next is a very interesting topic because we got a contribution from Mr. Hebb for OXID eShop 4.6, and just go ahead.
Okay, thanks for coming. I'll try to squeeze in as much information as needed without making it incomprehensible in the remaining time. So this talk is about how you can improve shops so that the products you offer are more visible for the next generation of devices that are between you and your consumers. So between the people offering anything on the web and people whom you want to reach for like buying the products, consuming the services and the like. Now, some people may have used a taxi to get here. Is it difficult to get a taxi? In most civilized regions of the world, it is not, if you don't mind being ripped off in some places of the world. But in general, finding taxi is easy because, well, you just have the same word in most places. There are likely not lots of variances. Anybody of you might have built or bought a house. Is it difficult to get a sewage tube? Can be difficult because they need to be certified, they need to have matching sizes, lengths, and the like. It's pretty difficult. Is it difficult to buy a bollard and poller, hydraulic? So, well, it can be more difficult. You need to Google for longer. Well, the main problem in here is what economists call specificity. That is how specific a certain good is. In layman's terms, it's how much do you lose when you don't do with the good what it's most valuable for. For example, a Snickers candy bar, it can be used before doing sports, so that you have a reason to go running, or you can eat it after sports, or you can eat it, I don't know what scenario, it has the same value. A wedding cake with the name of the groom and the bride unfolds the most value only when delivered on the right day to the right party with no spelling mistakes. Okay? So I think you quickly agree that the things we trade, the things we make our living from, are more specific than ever. If you're developers, the things you offer are more specific than saying, I'm a certified programmer. You have experience in certain libraries, in certain languages, so you need someone familiar with OXID 4.6, fluent in Czech, Polish, and Danish, and a vivid Python developer as well. So very specific profiles. In the past, the specificity of the things we traded was not very high. For example, in 1908, you could just buy one car or you could not buy a car. And nowadays, you can choose between millions of cars. In the 1920s, there was something like the General Dictionary of Types and of Products and Services in Germany, and it listed 5,000 items. 5,000 is already quite a big number. So you're missing the code in my presentation. I see that from your eyes. I will switch to Python quickly. So I'm still using Mercurial on a daily basis. So 5,000 items may sound a lot, but on the other hand, these classes of products were everything you needed to know across all branches, all cleaning detergents, all spices, everything. Now, in 2012, we have more specific things than ever before. So go to a bakery. We don't buy bread, as you learn in the ecommerce 101 lecture. We buy 1 out of 200 different types of bread. If you buy huge tubes, the full picture is like that. And they may have different certifications for all 16 EU countries, plus Greece. I'm traveling to Greece next week, so on campus we have a small grocery shop, and they have 27 varieties of mineral water. Okay? The German industry lives largely from very specific things. This is an asparagus peeling robot that peels the asparagus in a very highly fashioned way. And there's even a company in the southern of Germany that sells muesli for horses. And all these specific products want to find their customers. And all these products that you are trying to sell have a very, very specific profile. You are describing your product and the associated services, and this unfolds the value in the target audiences. So the location might matter. Stock level, inventory level. Every shop requires that you show the inventory level. Services, warranty, okay, the price, but also media assets and the like. Now, when you want to use the World Wide Web for communicating how beautiful your products are, then you have to meet 3 challenges. First of all, you need to be visible for the potential customers. And this is quite difficult because, for example, the query for Renault Twingo yields 16 million candidate pages. So when the option space is so big, it's quite clear that it's very difficult for the target audience to fairly consider all possible ones, because you'd be in the home for the elderly when your first car, when you will finally have finished checking which car to buy at the age of 18. The bigger challenge is to communicate the product features in a way that preserves as much of the original information as possible. You don't want to be reduced to your price. You want to indicate that you provide additional warranty. You want to indicate that certain accessories are included. You want to indicate that the netbook on your shop has the bigger battery and thus twice the operating time. And everybody complains that offers are being reduced just to the price. And this is not an eternal law that you cannot break. You as developers, by adopting the next stage of web technology, you can break that problem by making sure that the variety of the products, the rich description, is being preserved when you send this over the wire. And we'll get to coding quickly. The third challenge in that context is that you have to do this for many items. Some people believe that search engine optimization is mainly a manual task, filtering out the most valuable keywords that are not so crowded and that have a good ratio and the like. But clearly, a modern shop has easily between 1,000 and 10,000 for a small shop items, and the big ones have between 100K and several millions. So this is not about copywriting, asking someone to add nice textual descriptions, translations, images, keywords to increase the entropy of your information. It is about finding a mechanized way to send rich information to your potential clients. Now, a whole industry is about building beautiful websites. Okay? Any agency here in the room will be will partly get into business by saying we make beautiful pages. And currently, most of your clients will engage you because you make beautiful pages that are beautiful for humans. But the main problem is that a nice web page with a nice appeal, a graphic designer built a great grid and nice fonts and everything, impresses only those that actually visit the page, but not all the computational devices that are between your site and all the potential visitors that are pre-screening the option space. That is a little bit like dressing up or improving the interior of a shop that may convince people to stay longer in your shop and buy more. But it does not contribute anything for attracting people passing down through blocks to the left. Okay, so you will not draw additional people into your shop. And all the contributions to making a beautiful page, and I'm not just talking about design, I'm also talking about information architecture, user interface, and all that. Rich navigational, a nice user interface on that page is good for increasing the conversion on the page, but it doesn't help preserve the rich features of your products when between your shop and the potential clients are several computational devices, for example, a search engine, and the potential clients just see the preview of your page in the organic search engine results. So technically speaking, the World Wide Web is the biggest data shredder that has existed in information systems practice for the past 20 years. Because what the World Wide Web does is, in a sense, shredding structured data that is available at the origin when it's being sent over the wire. All web shops have a rich relational database or any other kind of structured data collection available at the origin. You have price separated from currency, you have validity information, you have the weight separated in unit of measurement and the numerical value. You know the data types of all your values, but when you send it over the wire via HTML, only the metadata, the structure needed to display it is being preserved. The rest is lost. You know that I work in my main occupation for a pretty traditional organization, and we quite naturally have lots of forms. So when I travel, I have to fill in lots of forms. Forms are the antecedents of structured data. You force someone to provide the data in a certain tokenization, in a certain structure, so that basically the administration can process it algorithmically, automatically, step by step. Now, the World Wide Web does to your product data what a shredder does to my travel application. Would I be so nasty as not to send it directly to the a lady or a gentleman in the administration, but run it through a paper shredder, put it in a transparent plastic bag, and hand it over to the administration and say, here's your data, process it. It's still there, but you have to manually extract all the features, glue it together, and do all that. So the World Wide Web does to your data what a shredder does to all kinds of structured documents. Because the World Wide Web was initially just built in a way so that the documents contained enough metadata to specify the rendering, the colors, the font sizes, the positions, and all that, but not to preserve data structure and data semantics, the meaning of the data, the points of reference, the units of measurement, the tokenization, the splitting of data into parts, and all that. So if you don't believe, or if you don't believe what I'm saying, then go to any web page of a restaurant, go to the address, and then try to use your iPhone, your navigation service on the iPhone to get there. What do? You copy and paste street and zip code and everything element by element into your address book, and if the navigation software is bad, you again copy and paste it from your address book to the TomTom device or whatever, okay? But whenever you find something on the web and want to process it, you have to use human intelligence to extract the data. And the sad thing about this is that all this work has been done before. The web shop is powered by a rich data structure that has been cleansed, that has been imported from multiple sources. People have employed PIM software that classifies objects according to UNSPSC and E-class and all that. And all that metadata that could help articulate value over the wire is lost when you talk to your clients over the web. So in other words, what you have to surpass is what I call the search engine barrier. You have your rich descriptions represented in millions of pages, and you have humans using computational devices to screen the market for opportunities. So in between you and your clients are search engines, crawlers powering mobile applications, browser extensions, and all the like, who cannot access this rich data. And the sad thing is that most people responsible for designing commercial websites focus on the interaction once the client has already reached that page. Of course, there's a huge industry about search engine optimization, but the mainstream understanding of that challenge is tuning the page so that you get on top or in the top 10 ranks for certain keywords. But quite clearly, and this is why I opened the talk with the specificity, if things get more specific, for example, in terms of services, location, inventory level, the like, then this traditional SEO approach of trying to find the most powerful agency that brings you among the top 3 results cannot work. Because not everybody, it's impossible that everybody becomes top dog for everybody. So it's like if you want to be the most attractive bachelor or the most attractive lady for all potential candidates in the world. That's impossible. Matchmaking can only improve if you articulate specific strengths so that the quality of the matchmaking gets better. So you can never become the #1 dealer for all clients in the world. The only way of escaping the sad state of e-commerce is trying to become top dog for those clients for whom you are the most attractive site. So the future of SEO will not be about the top ranks for mainstream keywords for all over the world. It's making sure that the restaurant that is closest to you and has the best matching profile to the identity of the searching individual, that this becomes #1. And Google is already working on this. This is why all search engines try to get rich profile information about you. Maybe the whole Google Plus approach and Google Profiles is about understanding better who you are, which credit cards you own, so that a restaurant that tells the search engine, I accept this credit card, ranks higher than someone that doesn't make a statement. Okay? Or that, for example, you see that already working now in the localization component of Google. If you are here, use your iPhone to search for a pizzeria. You will not find a pizzeria in New York, even though from the keyword match, that would be as good as a pizzeria near the trade show area in here. But this customization of the search results will reach unprecedented levels once the search engines have more data. And they have basically two mainstream approach, two edges to work on. This edge with the big construction tools and some other edge. Now, the one edge is trying to learn more about yourself, tracking, allowing, asking for permission so that they can crawl all your Google documents, know all your emails, know more about you. And the second part, and this is what I'm mainly talking about now and what the OXID eForge project is about, is getting richer information from the sites so that they send better relevance signals so that this matchmaking can be fundamentally different because you know more about the searcher and you know more about the sites so that the ranking can be way more fine-grained, way more individual than it was ever before. Because, and this is important for anybody offering a site, because only a few % of the people previewing your page in a search engine will actually click on it. We know that people only consider the first 10 results, and I think 60% click on the top 3 or 5 search results. Now, if you have 16 million cars describing a Renault Clio, then it's clear that only a fraction of these pages can ever be reached via a search engine. Now, what's the solution? I'm the solution. No, just kidding. It was in a hotel room in London because I had no Creative Commons illustration. So it's basically about using structured data to speak to potential clients, to speak to the digital devices that your potential clients use for pre-screening the market. Okay? So it's about not just sending HTML so that a browser can render it, but it's about augmenting the HTML so that all the mobile applications, all the crawlers for very specific applications, I will provide a video of this recording via Vimeo so you can get that easily. It's basically marketing with data, using structured data for marketing. And we all know that traditionally marketing is more in the realm of aesthetics and beauty and communication, which are all important components. But the fundamental new challenge, and by the way, for the techies in here, the fundamental new opportunity is that in the future, being able to help a company articulate the value proposition in the form of data and metadata becomes a core challenge. Okay? And for that, you need a lot of technical expertise. So that all the technical devices used by potential clients to pre-screen the option space, that they have easy access to this. And that the richness of a description, it's not the price, it's not just the image. Think of a product as a snowflake that has many, many different branches and edges. And they all somehow influence how much utility, how much value this product will create for the consumer, that this is being preserved when it's sent over the wire. So in a sense, the technology I'm talking about does the same to products and services as the freezer and lorries with how do you call them? Fridge lorries? Gefrierguttransporter? I don't know. Lorries that have that are basically a fridge on wheels, you know, that they allow a pizza to be as tasty as it is when leaving Dr. Oetker, when it finally arrives to your mouth when you eat it 3 months later in a distant location. Okay, so the freezer basically made it possible for goods to remain very, I would say, very rich in taste and appeal and the like over a longer period of time and a longer distance. So you could put something in, and even after some distance, it was still nice and tasty and colorful and the like. Before we had a freezer, everything that needs to be stored for a longer period of time or shipped over longer distances had to be very simple and very lasting, very durable. So this is why on the ships they add Zwieback, you know. Ask a seaman from the 17th century on what they think about. Well, okay, I'm getting off the rails, I know. Okay, now how can I use all this beautiful future for my business? Basically, what you should try to do is use the Good Relations standard and the schema.org standard to augment your web page content. Good Relations is what I've spent the last 10 years of my life for. And it's a global data structure for describing e-commerce information in a way neutral to a certain syntax, neutral to platforms, neutral to industries. So it's basically kind of a Esperanto for describing e-commerce aspects in a way suitable for websites. And this works by simply using Good Relations to piggyback data to the existing web content. Okay, so you add a few additional lines of markup to your site templates, and these preserve very rich data. They don't really slow down the application. They don't bother any existing browser, but a rich browser and a new search engine can extract this and get the data in a reusable format. So for example, if you use that to encode the address and geolocation of your pizza and the opening hours, then the mobile device can show, okay, this pizza has still open, this pizza accepts your credit card, and this is the geo position of your restaurant, and yes, please add this to my address book. Okay? So there are two principles. You need a general language for expressing all the facts, which is fundamentally different from XML schemas that you know from previous times, because they are very, very focused on syntaxes, and I don't get into technical details in here. And the second principle of adding respective data to HTML. For that, you have various syntactical ways. RDFA as the older and a bit more powerful but also more difficult syntax, mainly pushed by the W3C consortium, and microdata, a bit simpler, less powerful approach, pushed very much by Google. Now, if you use good relations in either microdata or RDFA syntax, which basically just means augmenting your page templates, you have three effects. The one effect is you get rich snippets. Many of you have seen that. Those are attempts by the search engines to augment the site previews in the organic search result so that you immediately see review data, prices, and inventory information, as you see it here. Yahoo was the first company to produce that. They have now temporarily switched it off because they take over a new Bing component. So give me 6 or 8 weeks for this to be turned on in Yahoo. And Google has started this for products in the fall of 2010. Now the advantage is that even a visitor who does not actually click on your page gets in the early stages of sifting the market, of screening the market, gets more information about you, reviews, price, and inventory information. They may also show pictures in the future. Yahoo used to do that. Google turned this off last minute because it slowed down the interaction. Now in OXID eShop, you have now the first software that provides good relations support in the core distribution, starting with 4.6.0. A community contribution developed by a student of mine, Christian Junghans, has been integrated so that as of now you can directly configure the use of good relations in the shop without programming it, without digging deeply into this semantic SEO field. And you can see that, for example, this company, intersportreichhardt.de, is using this extension. And if you go to Google and say Intersport Reichhardt online shop, Polar Herzfrequenz Messgerät, then you will see the price and the inventory level directly from good relations in OXID eShop of the box. No manual coding, no manual programming. And there are studies that this information drastically increases click-through rates. Best Buy had some reports that it can be as much as 30% more click-through rates. That's like getting more than 30% additional clients into your shop. In Yahoo, it looks like that. This is an example from Trattoria, now Rakuten.de. The important thing for you to know is the one effect are these rich snippets, and this is what most people talk about. But this is just the first rave. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do with this structured data in there. So when you're a developer, get ready, learn RDFA, microdata, and good relations and schema.org, because you will need that for all future projects, because there are second and third effects. You are not just powering Google's triggering of the augmented rendering. So you're not just getting these stars and the price and the stock inventory information. Google also uses, and will in the future use it even more, to assess the relative relevance of your page for a certain query. So when in the markup you say, I accept a MasterCard credit card, and they know that this user has a MasterCard credit card because he paid for Google services with that, that restaurant may rank higher than a restaurant that says we don't support MasterCard or that doesn't say anything about that. Or a restaurant that indicates opening hours until midnight tonight may rank higher for a query triggered from a mobile device at 11 p.m. than someone that doesn't say anything about the opening hours. So you are sending way more important data to Google than just what is being displayed in the rich snippet. So it's not just about getting these stars and the price and the in-stock item. There's way more to happen. And the third effect is training the search engines. You will help them understand your shops and your business better. I will stop immediately. No? Okay, I don't stop? Okay, good. So the good thing is you don't have to choose between good relations and schema.org. What's the difference between good relations and schema.org? Good relations is much older and much more powerful e-commerce, and schema.org is a recent 2011 initiative by the big search engines to provide one baseline vocabulary for the very simple things. So from annotating a sports site or a TV program, everything. And good relations is a power vocabulary just for e-commerce. Now the good thing is you can combine schema.org and good relations in the same patterns, and these very weeks I'm working with Google on integrating good relations elements directly into the schema.org page so that you can use the good relations granularity directly from the schema.org namespace, so that from the implementation perspective they become, basically you can use them from both ends, which makes it much easier for you as a developer. In general, when you have certain clients that you're considering as pilots for using good relations, then you should look for those that sell specific goods rather than standardized goods. The more specific the goods, the higher the immediate benefit. You should look for industries where location has some relevance. So, for example, real estate and used cars is better than downloads of apps, because for downloads of apps, the search space is not so complex. Ideally, you have model master data available, data sheets, and you have a high data granularity available at the source. So this is not an academic exercise. I think I outlined that. Besides Google and Yahoo, and also Bing and Yandex, who are well aware of good relations, many big players are using and even extending good relations for their own purposes. For example, the Trattoria.de Rakuten has good relations markup in all 10 million items. Volkswagen provides a Volkswagen vehicles extension to good relations and exposes all the respective data with good relations. And OXID eShop is the first shop software that doesn't rely on an extension module but provides good relations support in the core software. There are respective extensions available for other shops, for PrestaShop, for Magento and the like, but the client always has to add the extension, and OXID is the first shop software that has good relations with batteries supplied. And this is thanks to Marco Steinhäuser, who helped us get this into the core, establish the contact between our developers and your core developers, so that this is now automatically included. And the first, I think, 20, 30 shops I've seen already on Google with the enhanced renderings. Thanks for your interest. Actually, I must say, I'm happy to take your questions by email or by Twitter, but in order to preserve at least a modest level of respect for the last presentation, I think I have to stop here. I will put a video recording of my talk online at Vimeo, so ping me if you can't find it. Thanks for your interest, and maybe you can ask me bilaterally in the break. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so a few words to the Admin 2.0 project. The project was started last year at the Unconference, so tomorrow in 1 year. 1 year before. So just a few words to me and my team. This is my team I'm working with. We're a small agency in Magdeburg doing Typo 3 and OXID. We've been working on the mobile template, and we developed the Typo 3 integration, Toxid, which is an open source project. Oh, too fast. Okay, and as I mentioned last year at the Unconference, I came up with a talk about, well, wouldn't it be a good idea to start together a new project and reinvent the whole admin area? And then everyone agreed, and we've made some notes, and then it took half a year where we meet in, after that we meet in Hamburg at the developer meetup, and said, well, okay, let's start that thing. And after 2 months in March, we met in Halle an der Saale at the OXID building, and started the development with the GN2 agency, my team, Mayflower, and OXID, and some others. Koffer direkt. So what was the idea? The idea was to start from the scratch and to split the whole backend functionality over API from the graphical user interface. And that was what we focused on, the API. And yeah, I think we nailed the RESTful, but anyone could come and say, well, no, you missed something, just contribute it. That RESTful is pretty hard. So what we wanted to have is, we want a fast and easy to use backend, and what was one thing that most people requested was a quick edit mode, something like you have in WordPress, where if you just want to change the title or just the publish date or whatever, then you don't have to edit the whole thing and have just a quick edit mode. We will see that in a second. And what we wanted to drop was, of course, the frames. We wanted to drop Smarty, and we wanted to make it easy extendable. Much more than now, because if you're a developer, you might know that if you just want to have one new object, then you have to write at least 6 files just to display one new object. So what's the status? As I mentioned, the most power went into the REST API. REST API is, we focused on the products controller. Products controller is implemented so you can request information about a specific product, or if you don't specify the product, you get a list returned from OXID. And graphical user interface front end is, we have the CSS, we have first views, first HTML stuff, but that's the missing thing. Demo. So what you want to, what you will see is just one page, static HTML, just to get an impression how it would look like. Yeah. So this is the idea. The quick edit mode. That's a list view. If you have a wider screen, then the dashboard will stay here. And here you will have the list of all your products with a pagination for sure. You will have a very small menu, something like that, to have much space left for the editing stuff. You will have a filtering here. You can have favorites where you put the regularly needed shortcuts that is specific to yourself. And if you roll over, you will get the more information. So you will have a preview. You will have the edit this product or delete it. And if you click on it, you will get the quick edit. So this is what you could do in the quick edit mode. You can change the title. You can change here the price, price A, B, and C, and some other fields that you can specify or need to be implemented, but everything is ready and prepared for that. So this is the status, the thing that you could see. There is a small PHP file where you can get a demo or can send a demo API, REST API call, but what you will get is just some JSON data that's not that visible as you want to have. Okay, so what's next? As I mentioned, we will focus on the product editing. So that's the next thing what we want to finish, because after that you have a whole demo how it will work, and it will be very easy to catch up for other developers. The thing you had to do is then to write the controllers, to wrap the OXID core classes. So we have some wrappers around it. I will talk about tomorrow about the technical details on the unconference. So for sure we will try to keep all the OXID core functionality. So you need a wrapper around that to get the informations, even if you have a module that extends your data that you need. So product editing will be done, and after that we hope that many people join and do the other controllers as well. And what's also left is the OAuth, the authentication mechanism. At the moment, if you go to the admin, there's no login mechanism, so you could edit everything you want just by calling the URL. Yeah. So how can I help? As I mentioned, we started with a hackathon, which means we just sit together 2 days, 3 days. So organize one. I'm pretty sure that many people will come. I will come anyway, and some others as well. It's pretty clear and was a good experience that sitting together and discussing this stuff. That's something we talked today, that development goes very slow at the moment because everyone is in his daily business, and it's hard to get together in a Skype chat or whatever to discuss how should we go on and how should we handle that and how should we do these functionality. The other stuff that some of my customers did, support a hackathon, sponsor the travel, the hotel for some developers, or develop a feature by yourself. Everything is on GitHub. We try to catch up with the documentation. We know that there's a lag. Yeah. Develop, as if you're an agency, develop modules for the new admin interface. The admin interface differs totally from the actual way how the admin interface handles the editing stuff. So the admin is designed in a way that you can use the old admin and the new one parallel. So there will be no hard cut where you say, well, okay, now I had to switch all editing stuff and what's with my modules. But it is a contribution to OXID, and we all hope that OXID will take it. And so there might be a time when the old admin is not supported any longer, even if this is a few years away. And of course, the easiest way to support it is sponsor a feature. It's our time, it's our free time, spare time to do the development, and it might be faster if some companies could say, well, we deploy 1 or 2 developers for a week or 2, and we, for example, take care of for the OAuth stuff. Questions? There might be a lot. Yep.
What about the REST API? Is it placed in a specific shop? So you kind of install a module and have the REST API, so you can use the old admin and the new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it will be pretty easy. At the moment, it is pretty easy to install it. You just copy and paste what you get via GitHub, and then it will work, because at the moment you don't have any authentication mechanism, and you just need the connection to the database.
All files and do all the stuff in your own files.
There's one directory that is called API. And inside that you find the API that is the folder REST. So this is where you get the REST API. And then you have the folder admin2. And this is where all the front-end stuff plays. Okay.
I understand that you're trying to replace the admin area that's currently available in OXID. But how do you ensure that when developing a new GUI that you do it with a nice concept and not just replace errors from the backend tool just visually in a different style? Like we have a concept based on that you do the development for the GUI.
Well, that's pretty easy. We sit together and we discuss things with our customers and say, well, we look at what they do in their daily business. There are things like extensions for the own Warenwirtschaftssysteme, ERP systems, and so we have a look at that and say, well, what's the solution you build by yourself? Maybe we can integrate that into the admin interface, and then we discuss by ourselves, well, how could we make it easier, faster, make AJAX calls, something like the quick edit. And in the end, this design that we've seen was a GN2 network. Some designer had to sit down and make some nice screen designs. So that's also things where help is needed.
No, what I mean is it's not really a moderated result, basically. It's not like you give the community an option to choose certain workflows. You as a developer, you just sit together and decide what could be the best practice for a specific case.
Yeah, but
does not necessarily mean that everybody else would like to do it this way. Or
yeah.
Maybe a screen designer not working on this current project. Some nicer and better ideas. How do you get feedback from those people that contribute, but not developers?
This is what I've tried to mention. This is the biggest problem we have at the moment, that we don't get feedback on it. We need that feedback, and give us the feedback. Share your ideas, and help us make it better. Well, it's just our thoughts and just the things the problems we get and have seen, and try to find a solution for that. So you're welcome.
I just want to add, there's the REST API, and this is totally split off the front end part. The front end we are implementing is just an example on how to use it. So you are open to make another implementation.
Basically, that's exactly the concept I want to do. I understand it's easy for developers to develop a REST API, but it has to be usable for my customers that are using the OXID backend. Yeah. And being a developer, I tend to look at data structures rather than workflow options for my customers. And if you think about matching variant products, it's kind of hard to do in a nice way. So I think it would be nice if there would be some instance, some person who actually, maybe Marco.
No, this is not, sorry, just to make a break. This is not an option, it's a community project. Okay. It's a project that we do by the community. It's not an OXID project at the first side, first view. It's a project we do together with OXID, because the solution we have at the moment is not what we wanted to have. And we wanted to have real customers to say, well, this is what we need, and not some developers. And I think the best way to get that is to get projects that say, well, we have problems with variant handling, because this is ugly stuff to do at the moment. So we have a solution for that, and we implement that for the admin too. You can do nothing at the moment than just variant handling, and then contribute it to the project and say, well, this is how we could do it. What do you think of it? And maybe we could implement that. That's the best way to get real life possibilities.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Feedback. As soon as you can see something, feedback. And that's actually how it shall work.
Yeah. So we've discussed, for sure, we discussed project leadership, but at the moment I think there are so much stuff that needs to be developed together and discussed, so that's not the point at the moment.
Maybe we can set up a small information page where you can first link to the GitHub stuff, explain how to contribute, how to make a fork, and how to edit this, and then what is the pull request to get the changes back into your into the main project. And the second thing is establish a feedback option on this small page, like user voice or something like this, that you can enter all the things you want to have in there. And
we already have three portions of that. Actually, there is the GitHub repository. We have a Jira account. And we have
but Jira account is not needed. And when you are on GitHub, you should use the issues on GitHub, because there you
not
can
really decided. And the third portion is a QA server who is running on Thomas' site. I see Thomas Lohner, this is 11. And yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to bring it all together. And I think that this will happen in the next few weeks. And
as I mentioned, the domain for that, exactly what you've said, is registered. It's admin2.0.de. But there's still no content. So feel free to provide one. So that's exactly the thing we wanted to do. There might be a PayPal button to say, well, I want to support that sponsor feature. There will be information for where could I find it, where could I catch up, and who is contributing to that.
And we can talk later about making this with GitHub and nice
tomorrow.
new GitHub pages.
Yeah.
Tomorrow may be the best. I just want to add something. As far as I know, Eric already talked to the Lithuanian guys to summon into the project. As you might know, we have that pet project, pet days, where one can work on his own most beloved project inside OXID, and probably this is a good solution to bring the project again on the rails. Right. Okay, everybody. So let's go to the room next door. Okay. Just wipe my hat off. Das war deiner.